On December 29th, 2024, former President Jimmy Carter passed away at the age of 100. I know you may be wondering, why in the world am I doing a Jimmy Carter video 4 months after he passed away? Pope Francis passed away, and we have a new pope, the first American pope, and Pope Leo. He's from Chicago, the first American pope there is, and he's more exciting now in Chicago than the Chicago Bears football team. And everybody in Chicago knows that the Chicago Bears will not be making the Super Bowl anytime soon. Well, my friend Steve, the newspaper man, and a lot of my other friends kept pressuring me. Tom, you gotta make a tribute video for former President Carter. He was one of our favorite presidents. I know you love Jimmy, and that's the least you could do is making a video for him. And I know they are all right, and that's the least I can do. So I did decide to make this video finally after 4.5 months. Like I said, Jimmy Carter passed away at the age of 100. 1 in 300 people make it to 100, and Jimmy was one of the fortunate ones. I sure in hell never gonna make it to 100 with the lifestyle I live, and most people won't. Jimmy had a state funeral, and there were so many people in attendance. Thousands were there. All the former presidents and their wives were there. Kamala and her husband were there, and nobody spoke to Kamala. It's like she was invisible. And former President Clinton tried to fart, and he accidentally shitted on himself. Jimmy, in Jimmy's presence, Jimmy, Bill, that is so disrespectful. He stank up the entire funeral. But other than that, the funeral was fine. Like I said, it was a great funeral as far as funerals are concerned. Former President Jimmy Carter was a peanut farmer turned governor and finally became America's 39th president. There was the oil embargo. We had runaway inflation like we have today under former President Biden, and it's continuing under President Trump. But after his term was done, when he lost to Ronald Reagan, he had the longest tenure of any president, and he did so much humanitarian work. He built houses for the poor under the Habitat for Humanity project. He taught Sunday school, which is a bunch of nonsense as far as I'm concerned, but everybody had their faults, and a lot of other charitable work. And finally passed away after being in hospice for 4.5 months. Well, finally, I have done my job at completing this video, and now Steve is happy, all my friends are happy. Former President now, Jimmy Carter, can now finally rest in peace. Well, that does it for this video. Hit the notifications bell for future uploads. Leave some comments down below. Give it a like and a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. Once again, I will never do another Jimmy Carter video again. I promise. So may you rest in peace, former President Jimmy Carter. Farewell, my brother.